You know what's just a little bit better than a cartoon? A cartoon inside of a cartoon, or as I like to call it, Cartoonception. There's so many cartoons from the 90s and early 2000s that gave watchers a peek into the interests of the protagonists. For example, that episode of Dexter's Lab where Dexter and his friends are playing Dungeons and Dragons, or in Cat Dog when we get a look into Dog's love for mud wrestling and Cat's love for loofahs and loofah accessories. But it's even cooler when our beloved cartoon characters have a cartoon or show of their own that they hold in high regard. It can add so much depth to not only our understanding of the character developmentally, but also gives us a little more lore to whatever show we're watching and leaves the writers of the show with just a little more to work with. For example, I recently made a video about the Angry Beavers, another classic 90s Nicktoon, and I'll leave a link to that video in the description box if you want to check it out. In one of the episodes I talked about, we see the Beavers interacting with one of their favorite B-movie actors, Oxford Montalvo. I, for one, appreciated getting a deeper look into the interests of the Beavers, and I love how the writers ended up taking the Beavers' love for B-movies and Oxford himself and made an entire double-length episode centered around Oxford, incorporating many B-movie tropes along the way. Another good example would be Blocky and Oxwinkle from the Rugrats. Blocky and Oxwinkle was Stu and Drew Pickles' favorite show when they were younger, and was more or less a play on Rocky and Bullwinkle. There are many cases where situations like this can add another layer of depth to something as simple as a children's cartoon. After making that Angry Beavers video, I found myself remembering other cartoons that had similar situations where we got to look into a show inside of a show. I feel like it was a lot more commonplace back in the 90s and 2000s for us as viewers to get a look at some good old Cartoonception. That's why today, on our nostalgic walk down memory lane, we are looking at some of my personal favorite shows inside of shows. On a side note, I'd like to point out that these aren't in any particular order. I'm not exactly ranking these from best to worst, except for number 1. I saved the best for last, but other than that, these aren't exactly ranked. Justice Friends from Dexter's Lab. The Justice Friends was a group of superheroes made up of Major Glory, the Infraggable Krunk, and Val Halen. The group is basically a parody of DC's Justice League and Marvel's Avengers. Major Glory, the leader of the group, is a parody of both Superman and Captain America. He's known for his overly dramatic patriotic dialogue and his love for publicity and paparazzi that tends to do more harm than good.
Well, Sue, it looks like disgruntled postman will need to fill out a change of address form made out to the city jail.
The Infraggable Krunk is a big muscle-bound parody of the Incredible Hulk. He has purple skin and green shorts as opposed to Hulk, who has green skin and purple shorts. He's known for his simple-minded tendencies, having what some would describe as arrested mental development.
Krunk want kitty come down. Come down, come down, come down, kitty. Krunk want kitty.
Lastly, Val Halen is the Viking god of rock and is a parody of both Thor and Eddie Van Halen. He's known for his Southern Californian-like mannerisms and wielding a guitar that is the source of his powers. He even uses his guitar to fly, similar to how Thor uses his hammer Mjolnir to fly, which is actually pretty hilarious because Val Halen's guitar is similar to a flying V.
5:30? Man, I gotta go! The monster truck pull is on! You let those girls go, okay?
Okay.
So long, cowpie!
Together, the odd bunch fight crime and live together facing the struggles of everyday life. In the Season 1 episode Star Spangled Sidekicks, we see Major Glory fighting and defeating Dr. Diablos in an episode of Justice Friends that Dexter and Dee Dee are on the couch watching. Then, Major Glory announces that he's looking for a young sidekick and is holding a competition for anyone that wants to try out. Dexter and Dee Dee then proceed to compete for the spot.
You're a dork! And I suppose you've got what it takes to be a superhero sidekick?
There's another Season 1 episode called Beware, in which a bee flies into the apartment where the Justice Friends live, and they end up jumping through some major hoops to get the bee out, but ultimately, in the end, they end up being defeated by the bee.
There's only one thing left to do. Well, we certainly showed that bee, didn't we, Justice Friends?
Yeah, oh, yeah, totally showed him.
Ultralord from Jimmy Neutron. Jimmy Neutron is a fantastic show, and I certainly plan to make more videos about it in the near future, but in this video we're focusing on the TV show character that Sheen has an unhealthy obsession with. Ultralord. He's a tough, brave hero who usually dons a purple suit that is reminiscent to an old school Impala. Throughout the entire series, we see Sheen wearing an Ultralord t-shirt every single day and talking about him constantly. He also has a massive collection of Ultralord action figures and memorabilia, including an Ultralord mask that he wears a few times in the show.
I'm peed in the shower, still doing it. Go, go, go!
Ultralord even came close to getting his own spin-off show, but instead, the network opted to go with Planet Sheen, which was all about Sheen himself. To be honest, I never really got into that show myself. One of my favorite episodes of Jimmy Neutron to feature Ultralord would by far have to be Ultra Sheen. It's the episode where Jimmy invents a device that can actually put you in a video game.
I already had a copy of Ultralord vs. RoboFiend Mega Battle in my pocket.
And you carry that around all the time?
I don't need to. I can stop whenever I want. I don't have a problem!
Sheen gets teleported into the Ultralord video game, and he is so overwhelmingly excited about fighting alongside his favorite hero that he gets destroyed by Ultralord's archenemy, RoboFiend, so Jimmy comes in to help him.
I'm about to engage RoboFiend in pitched combat. Would you like to be my battle buddies?
He always says that. Get ready, Jimmy. RoboFiend's about to get ultra whipped!
Carl shows up, increases the game's difficulty, and takes control of RoboFiend, leaving Jimmy and Sheen nearly defenseless against him. Thankfully, Carl gets bored and puts his favorite game Llama-Palooza in, and ends up helping them save the day, leaving Sheen just a little traumatized in the process.
Phew. There's no way I'm ever playing that game again till next week.
Crash Nebula from the Fairly Oddparents. Crash Nebula is a TV show character that Timmy Turner and his friends idolize and hold in really high regard. We first see him appear in the episode Spaced Out. The episode begins with Timmy and his friends sitting around the TV, eating Crash Nebula cereal and watching the Crash Nebula show.
Puny humans, we shall now suck out your brains with bendy straws!
Then, they quickly jump into action to recreate what they just saw in the episode, with Chester and AJ using their Crash Nebula wrist water guns to shoot Timmy, who defends himself with a Crash Nebula cereal bowl. Being outnumbered, Timmy wishes for a realistic Crash Nebula suit with an actual ray cannon to fight back.
Killer crash suit, dude! Yes! Wherever did you get it? Internet?
Later on in the series, we got an episode called Crash Nebula, which was actually a pilot for a series that the Fairly Oddparents creator Butch Hartman was trying to pitch to Nickelodeon. Unfortunately for Butch, the series never got the green light, but I can honestly see why. This episode is by far one of my least favorite episodes of the Fairly Oddparents. It focuses on a young Crash Nebula who lives on a rural farm, being chosen to attend a school in outer space because he saved a space princess who crashed near their farm.
I want you to have this.
What? The Lucky Spivat cow pie?
Yep. This naturally occurring source of fuel has been in our family for 5 generations. It's yours now, boy.
For whatever reason, this episode just wasn't my cup of tea, and obviously a lot of other people felt the same way, as the pilot never led to an actual series being made. Moving on from there, in the episode Nectar of the Odds, we see Timmy open a lemonade stand in an attempt to get tickets to the sold-out show Crash Nebula on Ice.
Yeah, he's a hunksicle! He sure is!
Timmy ends up finally getting into the show after finding the long-lost son of Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome, who Vicky was holding prisoner in an underground bunker. Instead of being a part of the audience though, Timmy and his friends have to walk through the audience selling lemonade. At least, his job isn't as bad as Vicky's job is though.
Don't you just love Crash Nebula? On ice? He's a hunksicle!
TV puppet pals from Dexter's Lab and Just His Friends. The TV Puppet Pals were a duo that were a parody of Bert and Ernie from Sesame Street. The duo consisted of Puppet Pal Clem and Puppet Pal Mitch. The running gag between the two being that basically every joke they tell always results in Puppet Pal Mitch bonking Puppet Pal Clem in the head.
Hey, Puppet Pal Clem, where do people keep their money?
I don't know, Puppet Pal Mitch. Where?
At the First National Bank.
but in my opinion, this show within a show deserves another level of praise, because not only is it a show within a show for appearing in Dexter's Lab, but it's also a show within a show within a show because it appeared in Just as Friends as well, which is another show within a show. How's that for Cartoonception, huh? Try keeping up with that. The TV Puppet Pals is the infragable Krunk's favorite TV show. In the episode TV Super Pals, we see Krunk race home to watch TV Puppet Pals after helping a little girl get her kitty out of a tree.
The TV Puppet Pals are on.
TV Puppet Pals! I gotta go back! TV Puppet Pals! TV Puppet Pals! Lots of fun for guys and girls!
He gets home at the same time as Major Glory and Val Halen, and a fight ensues over who gets to pick what they watch on TV. Major Glory and Val Halen end up destroying the TV on accident, and Krunk forces them to go inside the TV and be the TV Puppet Pals for Krunk to watch. Later on in the series, in the episode Things That Go Bonk in the Night, we see Krunk slack on his superhero duties as he binge watches TV Puppet Pals for 4 days straight with absolutely no sleep. He ends up getting so delusional and tired that he crashes and has the most bizarre dream that he is in the TV Puppet Pals.
Oh, look, here comes our new bestest friend, Puppet Pal Krunk. Hey, Puppet Pal Krunk.
When Krunk makes Mitch and Clem read jokes that Mitch doesn't like, Mitch gets super angry and bonks Krunk a few times. Then, puppet versions of Major Glory and Val Halen come to save the day as the puppets break out in a fight. We then find out in a bizarre plot twist that it's Major Glory and Val Halen controlling the Puppet Pals, while Mitch and Clem are controlling the Major Glory and Val Halen puppets.
What's going on here?
Krunk finally wakes up freaking out about the bizarre dream that he had, but a figment of the dream is still behind him. We then find out that the whole thing was actually a dream that Puppet Pal Mitch was having the whole time.
Hey, Puppet Pal Clem.
Yeah, Puppet Pal Mitch.
That's the last time we stay up watching the 4-day Just as Friends marathon.
You said it.
Good night, Puppet Pal Clem.
Good night, Puppet Pal Mitch.
Puppet Pal Clem, there's a spider in your bed. Bonk.
And lastly, Reptar from Rugrats. See, I told you I saved the best for last. Rugrats is possibly the most iconic classic Nicktoon of all time, and Reptar is definitely the most iconic show within a show. That big green dinosaur is the baby's all-time favorite toy and TV show. There are so many episodes where we see the babies playing with their Reptar toys. Stu even made a Reptar wagon that we see in the first Rugrats movie, and a giant mechanical Reptar that we see in the second Rugrats movie. He was also even the subject of the best Rugrats video game, Search for Reptar, where you get to go around searching for Reptar puzzle pieces, and spoiler alert, in the end game, when you finally find all the pieces, you actually get to play as Reptar, which was just the coolest thing ever. There's even a ton of Reptar memorabilia that you can buy yourself. Actual Reptar bars have been made, Reptar figures, I've even seen Reptar hats and clothes too. He's a cultural phenomenon if you've ever seen one. There are many episodes where we see Reptar mentioned, one of my favorites being in the episode Grandpa's Date.
I rented you boys some movies. Reptar Come Home, Reptar Redux, and my personal favorite, Lonely Space Vixen. That's for after you go to bed.
Another favorite episode being Reptar 2010, where the Rugrats are watching the movie Reptar 2010 and the videotape they're watching gets eaten by the VCR. Grandpa Lou goes off to fix it, and the babies each taking turns telling their story of how they think the movie ends, where in each story Reptar has similar characteristics and mannerisms of the baby who is telling the story at the time. We see Chucky Reptar, Phil and Lil Reptars, Angelica Reptar, and Tommy Reptar. By the end of their tales, we see Reptar Tommy reaching for the moon thinking it's a cookie with the help of Reptar Phil and Lil, while Reptar Chucky stands by saying he thinks it's a bad idea. Then Reptar Angelica shows up to steal the cookie right as Reptar Grandpa shows up to say that he's fixed the VHS tape so they can finish the movie finally. Sadly, he says they lost a few minutes in the middle, but it turns out that they missed the entire climax of the film and just got to see Reptar getting sent into space on a spaceship. There's other awesome episodes that Reptar appears in, such as Reptar on Ice and Reptar's Revenge. He even appears in the subsequent series Rugrats All Grown Up in the episode Curse of Reptar. He's a character that is loved dearly by the babies as they grow up and was widely loved by many of us as we grew up too. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, then click that like button so more people can see it, and subscribe for more awesome videos like this one. If you made it this far, do me a favor and leave me a comment letting me know what your favorite show within a show is, especially if there's some good ones that I didn't include in this list. I always love seeing your opinions down in the comments. Again, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.
Hi, I'm Paul.